The house sat back from the road, swallowed by overgrown hedges that hadn't seen a trimmer in years. Every other house on that block had porch lights on except that one. It was crouched in sinister darkness. I grabbed the massive order from my basket. 6 large pizzas, breadsticks, wings, the works. The kind of order that made my rent money, so I couldn't afford to be picky about the time or the neighborhood. Just as I got out of my car, my phone buzzed with an updated delivery instruction. Use the side door, knock 3 times. That should have been red flag number 2.
He better give me a hefty tip.
The side door was tucked between 2 dying shrubs, barely visible from the street. I knocked 3 times like I was asked, shifting the pizza bags in my arm. The weight was making my shoulders ache, but it was my last delivery of the day. The door swung open immediately, like he'd been standing right behind it, counting seconds. "You're late," he grumbled, wide eyes raking every inch of my body. The guy was maybe 50, of average height and wearing a faded gray t-shirt that had seen better days. His hair was thinning on top but long in the back, like he couldn't decide which decade he belonged in.
Sorry, traffic was crazy.
I lied.
That'll be $147.83.
"Come inside." He stepped back, gesturing into the dark hallway behind him. "I need help carrying this."
I can't really come inside. The company policy...
"I'm disabled. I can't carry it all myself. If you can't come in, you better take it back." His face changed, just slightly, but I caught it. The eyes narrowed, and the lips twitched. I looked at him standing there. Neither a cane nor a wheelchair was in sight. His disability was either invisible or non-existent, but I couldn't definitely take the order back.
Okay. Just to the kitchen.
I said. Maybe there were people with invisible disabilities. Maybe I was being paranoid, but even in my overworked, delirious state, I knew I was lying to myself. The hallway smelled all wrong, not with the stench of rotten food or cleaning products or even mustiness. It was some repugnant chemical, so strong it made my nose burn and my head spin. I followed him deeper into the house, past a living room where all the furniture faced the wrong direction, away from the TV and toward the hallway we just walked through. "Kitchen's this way," he said, but he was leading me toward a door at the end of the hall. "Down here."
Down?
I stopped walking.
The kitchen's in the basement?
"That's where my guests are waiting." His voice had gotten softer, almost gentle. "They're hungry." Every instinct I had screamed. The house was dead quiet, except for our footsteps. I couldn't hear any sounds of guests, conversation, or TV.
You know what? I'll just leave these here on the counter.
I said, setting the bags down on a small table in the hallway.
Your guests can come up and get them.
"No," he barked. "They can't come up. They're all old men." He moved between me and the front door, casually, like he was just adjusting his position, but now I'd have to go through him to get out. "My guests don't like waiting," he continued. "Especially not the new ones. They get cranky when they're hungry." My mouth went dry.
Sir, I'm afraid I'm in a bit of a hurry. Got more deliveries and...
"No, you don't." He grinned, sickly, making my supper churn in my stomach. "I checked your app. This was your last delivery of the night." He wasn't supposed to know that. I could feel cold sweat glisten on my palms as he took a bold step closer. "The basement's real cozy, soundproof, and warm lights. All my guests loved it down there. Nobody ever wants to leave." I fumbled for my phone, hitting the call button for the first contact I could reach. It went to Maddie, my best friend's voicemail.
Hey!
I said it loudly anyway.
Yeah, I'm at 1247 Maple Street. Yeah, that one. Can you come help me with this drop-off? The customer has a really big order and needs help getting it downstairs.
The man's face went white. His eyes darted toward the front door, then back to me.
There's a lot of food here.
I continued into the phone.
Yeah, I'm in the side door. Just come around the back. You'll see it right there.
"Hang up," he said quietly.
What? Oh, okay, Jake. Yeah, just hurry. I want to get home fast.
I ended the call and looked at him.
My coworker's wet out. It should just be a minute.
For a moment, white spots danced in my vision as I watched his eyes twitch darkly. I used the distraction to hurriedly walk past him, trying not to run and keeping my breathing steady. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely turn the door handle.
"We're waiting for the girl! What's taking so long?"
A sleazy voice boomed behind me. There were more footsteps. "She had company. I had to let her go," he snapped. I made it to my car, threw it in reverse, and backed out of the driveway faster than I'd ever moved in my life. In my rearview mirror, as I drove away, I caught a glimpse of his garage. The door was partially open, and I could see plastic sheeting hanging from the ceiling and coiled rope on a workbench. My hands were still shaking when I called 911. The police reached the house, made a thorough investigation. The basement was soundproofed. There were zip ties, jars of chloroform stacked in the corner. They even found metal rings bolted into the walls and a handwritten sign that read "Guests" in neat block letters. It looked like a dark web torture room. The cops also found 3 driver's licenses in the kitchen drawer, all young women about 20 who had gone missing over the past 2 years after their late-night deliveries. I keep thinking about that room, the plastic sheeting, and how he knew it was my last delivery. But mostly, I think about his smile when he said his guests never want to leave, because now I understand what he meant. I've been delivering pizzas for Tony's for 3 years now, and I thought I'd seen everything. Hoarder houses where you squeeze through towers of newspapers, apartments that smell like something died in the walls. But some deliveries stick with you and change how you see the world. This was one of those nights. The rain was coming down like God had a personal vendetta against my windshield wipers. I could barely see house numbers through the downpour, squinting at each mailbox as I crawled down Sycamore Avenue. The GPS kept insisting I'd arrived, but all I could see were dark houses, stooped trees, and flooded gutters. The house sat wrong on its lot, like it had been dropped there by accident. Paint peeled in long strips, shutters hung crooked, and the lawn begged to be mowed. But the porch light was on, indicating someone who could order pizza at 9 o'clock lived there. I grabbed the order and made a run for it. The floor whined under my feet as I knocked on the door, raking a careless hand through my wet hair.
Just a second, honey.
The voice was high and sweet, kind of like those lonely aunts in family gatherings who never found their Prince Charming in life. The door opened and my world tilted sideways. Instead of some old cat lady, what smiled at me was this tall, middle-aged woman. She towered over me at 6'2", with broad shoulders that didn't quite fit the pink cardigan she wore. Her red lipstick was bright red and smeared across her face, like she'd applied it in the dark. It was streaking across her cheeks in this grotesque clown smile that promised to haunt my nights for as long as I lived. But it was her face that made my instinct blare. It was hideous, with that square jaw, protruding Adam's apple, and hollow cheeks. The blonde wig sat crooked on her head, revealing patches of short dark hair underneath. Foundation was caked on thick, but it couldn't hide the 5 o'clock shadow creeping through.
Oh, wonderful. I was hoping you'd be young.
She leaned on the doorframe, looking me up and down.
What's your name, sweetheart?
I held out the pizza boxes, trying to keep my voice steady. 2 mediums with pepperoni for Rebecca Martinez. That'll be $43.50. She smiled, and I swear it was the most disturbing thing I'd ever seen. Her lipstick had gotten on her teeth, making them look bloody in the porch light.
The name never sounded better before. Come in, it's pouring out there.
I could see past her into the house. The hallway was dark except for a single bare bulb hanging from the ceiling. The wallpaper peeled in long strips that looked like dead skin, and on the walls, photographs covered every available space. There were different faces of men around my age. That's okay, I'll just wait right here, I said. Her smile faltered.
Don't be rude, sweetheart. Come get your special tip.
You can just give it to me from here.
I absolutely insist.
She stepped a little closer, and every hair on my body stood up. Really, I'm perfectly fine out here, ma'am. I took a small step back. Just the $43.50.
Oh, come now. Don't be rude. Don't you want a fat tip? Isn't that why you drove all the way in this torrential rain?
She clicked her long nails on the doorframe, scratching the surface. They were painted the same garish red as her lipstick, but were chipped and dirty. One was missing entirely, revealing a bitten down nail underneath. I wanted to get away ASAP. You know what? Don't worry about the tip. It's all right. Not worry? Her voice dropped completely now, no pretense left. It was deep, masculine, and furious. You think this is funny? You think Rebecca is some kind of joke? She stepped out onto the porch and I saw her shoes. They were men's work boots, size 11 at least, with pink nail polish sloppily painted on the hairy toes. You boys are all the same, she continued, but now it was definitely a man's voice. You see the wig and the lipstick, and you think you can laugh at Rebecca, but Rebecca doesn't like to be laughed at. He lunged forward suddenly, grabbing my arm. You came here. You knocked on Rebecca's door. Now you get Rebecca's special tip. Get inside. His fingers caught my jacket sleeve. I jerked away, swinging my elbow back hard. It connected with his ribs, and he grunted, stumbling backward. The other boys fought too at first. He was grinning now, the wig completely askew. But they all thanked Rebecca in the end. They all screamed over and over. I dropped the pizzas and ran like hell, not looking back, not caring about anything except getting into my car. Behind me, I heard heavy footsteps on the porch, then on the gravel driveway. Come back here! Rebecca's not done with you! I fumbled with my keys, hands shaking as rain poured down my back. He was closer, maybe right behind me. I didn't turn. Come on, I grunted. The moment the door opened, I literally threw myself inside, jamming the key into the ignition. The engine turned over, just as a big shoe slammed into my rear window. I threw the car in reverse and floored it, not caring what was behind me, not looking in any direction except forward, as I spun the wheel and tore out of that driveway. In my side mirror, just for a second, I saw him standing in the middle of the street, the wig hanging from his hand like a dead animal. I called the police from a diner 3 miles away. The house was empty when they arrived. There weren't any pink cardigans or wigs to testify to the horror. But there was a collection of delivery uniforms from every major chain in the city, clean and pressed, hanging in a neat row like trophies. And in the corner was a tip jar filled with driver's licenses. I quit delivering pizzas the next day and found work at a call center, but sometimes late at night when it's raining hard, I still hear that voice in my head. You boys always beg for your tip when Rebecca's done with you. I never did get mine, and I'm grateful for that every single day. It was 11:47 p.m. when someone knocked on my dorm door. A couple of soft taps, like they didn't want to wake anyone else on the floor. I'd been grinding through another sleepless night of Valorant, trying to forget how much I missed home. 3 weeks into my transfer to state, and I still felt like an outsider here. I paused my game and listened. The knocking came again, patient but insistent. Through the peephole, I saw a guy in a red Pizza Palace uniform holding a thermal bag, clean cut, maybe in his mid-20s, with this weird smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Pizza delivery, he called out, his voice muffled through the door. Wrong door, dude. Didn't order anything, I yelled without opening up. Late-night food deliveries to the wrong room constantly happened, but something felt off about this one. His posture was too rigid, like he was muffling a scream inside. The order's already paid for, cash tip included, he replied. His voice was slightly skewed. I didn't order pizza, I repeated, louder this time. My heart started doing this weird flutter thing. You've got the wrong person. The guy pressed his face closer to the door. I could see his eye through the peephole now, wide and unblinking. Sir, I really need to complete this delivery. It's one of the last. My manager will be pissed if I bring this back. Please, it's paid anyway. Then eat it and tell him you delivered it. I chuckled, eager to get back to my game. The guy didn't move. He just stood there, swaying slightly like he was deciding something. When he spoke again, his voice had dropped to almost a whisper. I don't want to eat it alone, and I know you don't want to either. Isn't it perfect for your lonely game night? Macaroni and some Coke? Come on, let me in, just for a minute. I promise we'll have fun, Alex. My heart dropped into my stomach. I backed away from the door and triple-checked the deadbolt. Not only did the dude know my name, he knew what I was doing and exactly what I was dreading those days. I was totally suspicious about him being a pizza guy. You need to leave, I said. The silence was shady for a second. Then I heard him set something down in the hallway. Footsteps moved away from my door, and I heaved a sigh of relief. I crept to the window and peered through the blinds. The guy was standing on the sidewalk below, staring up at my exact window. The pizza bag sat abandoned by a tree. He wasn't leaving. He was just watching. I grabbed my phone and almost called campus security, but what would I tell them? A delivery driver stood outside my building? That wasn't exactly a crime. For 2 hours, he stayed there, pacing in small circles, checking his phone, but always coming back to the same spot where he could see my window. I kept the lights off and watched him through a crack in the blinds until exhaustion finally won, and I passed out. When I woke up the next morning, he was gone. Dude, you look like hell, my roommate Marcus said when he got back from his morning class. Marcus was one of the few people who'd actually tried to make me feel welcome since I transferred here. I told him everything, the fake delivery, the guy who knew my name and room number, and how he'd stood outside all night. Marcus listened with this expression that got progressively more serious. The hell, bro? Why didn't you ring me? He said when I finished, with a pale face. There was a murder 2 towns over last month. Some psycho dressed as a delivery driver to get into the newbie's apartment. He assaulted, stole stuff, and did some horrible shit. It's been all over the local news. The blood drained from my face. What? Yeah, it was all over Channel 7 and the campus alerts. Guy would show up with fake food orders, claim they were prepaid, and then force his way inside once people opened their doors. Marcus pulled out his phone, scrolling through news articles. Jesus, Alex, you could have been killed. Look at this shit. The headline made my stomach drop. Pizza delivery killer claims 3rd victim in Millfield. Below was a police sketch that made my hand shake. Those were the exact basic features. Same dead eyes and the same unsettling smile. We need to check the security cameras, I said. Campus security took one look at the news article and called the police immediately. The cops arrived within an hour. They pulled up the security footage and went quiet when they saw the timestamp. 11:47 p.m. The officer muttered. Same time as the other attempts. Other attempts? I asked. He's been targeting transfer students specifically, new kids who wouldn't know to be on guard. The officer rewound the footage. We think he gets their information from registration databases. There he was on screen, clear as day, walking up to the main entrance in a Pizza Palace uniform. But when the officer froze the frame, my blood went cold. His hands were empty. But I saw him carrying something, I whispered. The survivors say all the same thing. They see him holding a delivery bag through the peephole, but the cameras never show it. We've been tracking him for weeks. He did the right thing not opening that door. 3 days later, they caught him trying the same routine at another dorm across town. Marcus showed me the news report. Pizza delivery killer arrested after failed break-in attempt. I was relieved, but I couldn't ease off the terror. Last night, I was walking back from the library when I noticed someone following me at a distance. Just a guy in street clothes, hands in his pockets, matching my pace perfectly. When I turned around to look, he smiled and waved. It was the same smile I'd seen through my peephole.